start with the basics. I think that everybody wants to know, what was it like, or what was the process like to originally be on Beyonce's dance team, her team of dancers in the
So
very beginning? Yeah.
for me, my process, because everyone's is different, my story is I was living in New York at the time, and this is back when like she lived in New York, she was based in New York and all of that. And this is in 2006. I was 17 years old, and I just, girl, I went to an audition. I just heard about the audition because of my friends, like other dancers in the community and at my dance studio, and just it was the talk of town, literally. Like it was an open call too. I think it was the last open call she had
Uh-huh.
in like the history of open calls like that for like a tour and something so major, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I went to an open call audition, and like literally there were people who were like aunties and like people who didn't dance basically there. Anyone could have went.
Hmm.
And her choreographer Frank Gatson remembered me from meeting me at Alvin Ailey, the studio I was training at the time, and you know, kept me to the end and saw me dance for the first time, and the rest is kind of history.
I love that. I love that. It's funny. I was talking to a couple of friends, I believe a couple of weeks ago, and we were like, "What was it like back in the?" Because we know Beyonce doesn't just be like, "Hey, I need dancers." We know that.
I know.
So
Yeah,
we
it's
were
not
like,
the
"What
same
was it
anymore.
like?" Yeah,
It's
I'm
crazy.
glad you were able to tell me about that. I actually grew up. Well, I was taught by Kimmy. Who else is yeah, she was one of my dance teachers when I was younger. So
Oh,
I was,
really?
yeah.
That's so cool.
Um,
Where?
so we both are from Plainfield, New Jersey. So
Yeah.
that's, yeah. So
Okay,
when I
so
was growing
there.
up, she
That's so
taught.
cool.
Yeah. So I was thinking about, my friends and I were thinking about like how she does it, how she went about it, because I know she was a dancer for the 76ers, and then how that grew. And I was like, I wonder how any of them did that, because like
Yeah.
I can't
Kimmy
even imagine.
auditioned for the tour that I ended up doing. My first tour, she
Hmm.
auditioned for it and didn't book it. And then auditioned again in 2009, 2 years later, and ended up booking that one.
Oh wow, come on,
So you have to be
perseverance.
persistent, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the dance community, how are you able to, because I know you haven't only worked with Beyonce. I know you've done a bunch of other stuff. How are you able to keep that going, keep your momentum going and not be labeled? I mean, people know you, of course, as, Beyonce's dance captain, but you do have other things about you. How are you able to keep yourself relevant across the board and not just, I guess you could say, typecasted as
Yeah.
Beyonce's dance captain?
Well, I definitely do get typecasted as that. And, you know, some people have thought I only know how to dance in heels. And I'm like, I actually can do ballet. Like, believe it
Uh-huh.
or not, you know, I'm trained and I trained in everything. So I do hip hop too. Like, dancing with Sierra, I think showed a different side of me and my diversity as a dancer. So many people were like, I love seeing you with Sierra just because it was so different than me with Beyonce. You know, it's like dancing like a boy and like sneakers and bent knees, and we're grounded and low, you know. So I mean, I've just always been a diverse dancer, and I always am open to multiple jobs. You know, I've never only kept myself in one category of you only dance for Beyonce. Like once I booked the job, like, oh no, I'm
Right.
never gonna take another job. Like, of course I'm gonna do like Shake It Up on Disney, and of course I'm gonna do The Masked Singer where I'm a frog and a llama. Like it's fun and it's cool, and I just also have a hustle about me that I'm never gonna like settle. So I
Hmm.
like different experiences and I like to work. Period.
Right. I love that. I love seeing you grow. I've, of course, like any other Beyonce, like Hive fan, we've seen like a bunch of different, the growth of the different people on her team, and
Yeah.
I've seen you grow, specifically, and I think that your growth has been amazing,
Thank
personally.
you.
Uh, so how do you feel that you were able to grow, not just, in your craft, but just as a person? Because you have been getting a lot of fame, or a lot of acknowledgement, people recognizing you. What was
Oh,
that like, and how are you
really?
able to grow just as a person?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy when I think about it because I did start so young, and I mean, those who have been watching my growth, you know, y'all grew up with me. Like I grew up in front of audiences and stuff. And that could be hard, you know. I fail. I have failed relationships and, you know, engagements and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but it's very real. It's relatable. And I think, you know, I don't necessarily consider myself like famous. Some people say like, you're famous. My niece and nephew, they're like, TT, what is it like to be famous? And I'm like, I would say maybe I'm recognizable. We'll go with that. But I wouldn't consider myself famous when I walk out the door, paparazzi's there, because it's not, you
Right.
know? And I have that freedom, which is amazing because I can imagine that privacy being intruded all the time, you know? But yeah, I mean, I think the journey has been really cool, and I love like the fans and everyone who has been there with me, riding with me through it all, the ups and downs of my personal life and all of that. But I don't. We just got to stay sane, girl. That's
Yeah.
that's what you got to keep yourself around. The right people, have a good core of your foundation and your people, you know.
Yeah.
The energy has to be right. That's what I've realized as I've grown and gotten older.
Absolutely.
And quality over quantity.
Yes.
Period.
I was just reading the other day, like, it was funny. It was like fake people have like a huge circle of friends, but like real people got like a small circle. I'm like,
Literally, yeah.
I'm real.
It is what it is.
Yeah. How do you stay so grounded, positive, and focused?
I mean, I would say I come from a family who is very focused and driven. And so my parents have been a really great example of that. Even when I feel like I have succeeded at something, I always can push myself beyond and further. And, you know, I do look up to my parents for that. So I would say, and of course, working with people such as Beyonce, you know, she is the epitome of pushing herself better and making herself better than her last project or whatever it was that she just did. So I have a great examples in my life. And I think that's where my drive and like motivation still comes from. I also think just in general with people, we always have to strive to be better and keep life exciting. You know, if you find yourself bored or stagnant in a job or a career path, like do something that's going to keep you motivated and excited about it, because you'll just evolve into better.
Yes. Backtracking a little bit, I know you mentioned growth, and I wanted to talk about letting go of things, you know, that don't necessarily serve you. You did have an interview with Essence Magazine about the engagement and breaking that off and just learning more about you. And I think that was very that took a lot of bravery from you, in my opinion. And as you said in the interview, that, you know, you had the whole world seeing that, and that kind of, I guess you could see, I guess it could put a lot of pressure on you. How are you able to say, you know, F all y'all, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, I'm gonna learn more about me? And I think that's when I saw, like, again, like I said, I've been following you longer than that, but I saw more of your growth from that point on. How are you able to you know, let that go and still say, I don't care what y'all think, what y'all do, I'm gonna still live my life?
It's so hard to let things go, you know, much easier said than done. And it's a daily practice that I think we all have to remember to practice, like literally practice it. But I would say the moment I finally decided to just like put myself first, because I am a person who, if I'm in a relationship, it's like us, we, you even before me, you know? And I can't be like that in relationships, in business relationships, in professional worlds, any of that. I have to put myself first because everybody else is.
Right.
They're putting themselves first, okay? And we're putting ourselves behind everyone else. Even people's feelings about the engagement, like, oh my gosh, you didn't get married. I'd rather not get married than get married and be unhappy.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So literally just putting myself first and not being concerned so much about pleasing others and failure, quote unquote. Yeah. just
I
putting
think,
myself first in my happiness, like genuine
yeah.
happiness, internal happiness, not outward, not, physical, but in here emotionally,
Are you happy? I think
I
that's a
am.
good, yes.
I'm like
I'm glad.
mentally, physically, emotionally the happiest and I think healthiest I've ever been right
I,
now.
wow. It's so, no, I love that. I think that your glow has been so much more visible.
Thank you.
And you can see it. Um, so
I
I
look
was
crazy
mentioning,
right now. I have like no makeup on
no,
and stuff.
you look, and
Don't
it's
judge
funny.
me, y'all. My
Just
beauty
saying,
light's not
somebody was just saying, drop the skincare routine. And, honestly, we need it. But
on.
I don't know if you probably weren't here yet when I was talking about, you just recently did the ORS hair care dance camp, or, the 3-day thing that you did.
Hmm.
And I was there.
Oh, what'd you think?
I'm just glad that you couldn't see me, because it was a little embarrassing, but I did learn I've been getting to this money.
Yes.
So would we be able to get more now that we're all pretty much virtual
I
for the
know.
time being? Will we be getting more from you virtually, at
Yeah,
least?
I mean, if the world wants that, I am just one request away. I'm one button away, literally.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't mind doing the virtual thing. I'm getting used to it now, and I think it's a great engagement, and I would like to do more if that's what people want, you know?
Mm. I think they'd like. I think if people, up and moving while they're. I guess I know outside is opening up. I guess, but
I
I'm
know, but
I'm gonna
now
still
they're
be
saying it
inside.
might close back down. Like,
Yeah,
we don't know. So
I'm gonna
I'm
still
real
be
comfortable
inside.
at home. Everyone should be.
If your life didn't turn out to be a dancer, what would you be?
Okay, so I always say this. When I was dancing, well, when I was younger, I was a dancer and a gymnast. And I had to, at one point, choose between the two because I was getting good at both. And gymnastics wanted me to be on the traveling team and eventually, like, be competing and stuff. And traveling would have meant I would have been away from dance.
Mm.
So I ultimately chose dance. But I feel like had I not been a dancer, I feel like, well, realistically, gymnasts are really short, and I'm 5'7", so I'm
Oh,
taller. So,
yeah. Right, right.
but maybe a rhythmic gymnast because they're like long and flexible and stuff. But I don't know. Besides that,
Okay.
definitely not like a scientist or anything because that was my worst class in school.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, gymnast, being a gymnast is not too far off from dancing. It's because you still got to be, aerial, I guess.
Timber, physically fit and stuff.
Yeah. So it's not too far off.
True.
But it'd be interesting if you were just like, oh yeah, I would have been like a dentist, or like,
I
oh,
I do feel like my family's in real estate, so like maybe
really?
I would have went down that road, and maybe
Mm.
still in the future, definitely not opting out of real estate.
Advice for young aspiring dancers. What do you wish your dance teachers had told you?
Hmm. What do I wish my dance teachers had told me? Gosh, that's a good one. Hmm. I would probably say I say this not necessarily for my dance teachers, but like I kind of wish I learned more and how to like network earlier in life. Like I know how to network now, but like I wish I learned about networking and like how to use that, for your advantage in the industry. Because that's a whole thing. That is a
Right.
real thing. Networking is like a thing in the industry. It's just like your image has to be right, when you're in the industry, right for whatever that means, for you.
I think that's for across the board though, with media overall, like entertainment overall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And yeah, I feel like I wish maybe I learned about networking because networking isn't something that people really talk about. It's just like you learn it on your own. It's not like, do you agree?
Mm.
I don't
I get it.
know.
No, no, no. I get it because and I would agree that I wish I was taught that a little bit younger. I mean, they always say, it's not about what you know, but who you know and
Who
stuff
you
like
know.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But it never really resonated with me. It
Yeah.
was kind of just like I was always taught, you do the work and you'll
And you
get
get the reward
seen.
later.
Yeah. But I've
Yeah.
never, and it's hard because, me personally, I'm not it's interesting. People are like, you're an introvert. Like, I like being to myself sometimes.
Me
So it's
too.
like, it's hard. I gotta go out and be like, hey, how you
Introduce
doing?
yourself to people when you probably don't want to. Like, you
Yeah.
have to learn how to be an extrovert.
Yeah. So before we log out of this, I wanted to know what's next. What can we expect from Ashley Everett next?
Well, during this quarantine, I have been working on more things outside of like dance, obviously, because it's not, stage and audiences and stuff. We don't know when that's going to come back around. So we got to work on other things. And one thing I've been working on is a product brand of CBD stuff. So I will be launching that very soon. It's going to be lotions and whipped butters and face creams and wrinkle creams and bath bombs and you name it, oil drops, all of these things. And it's all CBD based, which is really great in the long run for you and keeps you healthy and young.
Yes, a businesswoman. We love it. We love
Yeah,
it.
gotta be.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us today. I'm so happy we were able to chat with you. I'm looking forward to whatever you have in the future on top of your businesswoman ventures. I
Thank
love a
you.
businesswoman, okay? I love me a nice female entrepreneur, okay?
That's right. We gotta support each other too, girl. I'm here
Yes.
for you too.